This is Warren Dykeman. I'm here to congratulate Nancy Guppy and Art Zone and the whole Art Zone crew on 10 years of broadcast excellence, a full decade. Hopefully you can do another 10 years. Bye-bye.
Hello, hello.
Hit it, hit it.
Hi everyone and Happy New Year. I'm Nancy Guppy here at Georgetown Stables and we're kicking off 2020 in high style. Take a look.
Video Bebop.
A new music video show. Matt's Movie Minute.
Once the bad stuff starts to happen, this goes completely out of control.
I thumbnail everything out incessantly first.
Gina Siciliano's graphic novel opus. A deep dive into the AZ Vault. And indie alt-rock from Racoma.
Oh, your horse is left on the racetrack.
We'll begin with Kathy Moore, an extraordinarily talented guitarist who, as you're about to see, can shred with the best of them.
When you're in the middle of it, it feels like you're lost in this monster. That to me is when I'm playing at my most successful, is when I lose myself inside of it. The moment that I knew that I was going to be a guitar player is the first moment I picked up a guitar and played it. The tone is beautiful, like a voice singing, and it's kind of sad. It has its own little sorrow to it. Maybe that's why I'm happy. Because I'm putting it all in here, like all my sorrow. It really is going in here, or maybe anger and aggression. It kind of all goes in here. So then I'm left like this formless, voidless thing. So my dad played guitar, and I always worshipped my dad because he was the best natural musician that I ever knew. When I was a kid, I was bullied a lot because we were poor and we kept moving every couple years. So I really got lost in playing music. When I was young, I was told that girls couldn't play guitar because we didn't have forearm strength and we didn't have grip strength. And so I didn't pick up a guitar for a long time because of that. It discouraged me. Once I drew the conclusion that I could get as good as I practiced, then I decided I wouldn't care if anyone said anything to me to discourage me.
By far, Kathy Moore is probably one of the best guitarists in the city, or probably in the region, worldwide, I don't know. She's a kind-hearted, great-spirited musician.
I used to get, "Is that your boyfriend's guitar?" if I would carry it in. That's nice that they thought I was carrying my boyfriend's guitar for him. Wow, I've never seen a girl shred before. And I think, you know, what are you going to do? That's the way. It will change. It is changing. It will change. Are you on E? 1,
2, 3.
I've been teaching jazz ed, which is a program that is about equity, and it gets instruments into the hands of people who can't afford instruments. And a lot of local, really fantastic jazz musicians teach combos there, and they teach summer camps. I have all these young girl students right now that are really fantastic, and it's exciting to know that they're part of this change that is continuing to happen. I want to do things all the time, and I like playing with lots of women and lots of men and lots of really great musicians. So I don't feel competitive with men or women. I feel like the sort of joyful, positive competition. On that night that we did the Jimi Hendrix tribute, Ian Moore had just played the best solo that could possibly be played in the evening, and I knew I couldn't compete with him. So I did this thing in my brain where I was like, just relax. And I just took this deep breath and I said, whatever you do, it has to start in this place of calmness. So the whole beginning is me playing really kind of trying to play beautifully and calmly and find my tone and my passion. And then somehow my guitar and my voice connected, and by the end of it, yeah, I totally lost my shit. So it looks like I'm angry, and it looks like I'm, like I could shred a phone book in half, but I'm actually very exhilarated. When I'm playing with other musicians, it makes me excited and exhilarated. And if I'm playing great music, then I can lose myself. And that is a place of absolute joy.
Here we go.
Catch Kathy live at Slim's Last Chance on Friday, January 24th. And the Kathy Moore Superpower Trio's new record, I Won't Let the End of the World Bring Me Down, drops later this year. Also, email Kathy directly for information about private music lessons. This fall, Seattle's own FANTAGRAPHICS Books released a stunning new graphic novel biography of the pioneering 17th century female painter Artemisia Gentileschi. At the same time, the Seattle Art Museum opened an exhibit that features Gentileschi's most famous painting, which depicts a woman decapitating a male oppressor. Well, here with me now is the 21st century woman at the center of this artistic maelstrom, cartoonist and biographer Gina Siciliano, the creator of I Know What I Am, The Life and Times of Artemisia Gentileschi. Well, hello, Gina. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, Artemisia Gentileschi. Who was this woman?
Well, Artemisia was a 17th century painter, an Italian painter. She was born in 1593. She started out her career in Rome and then spent some time in Florence, Venice, and spent the last part of her life in Naples. And she died around 1655 or so.
And how did she get started? I mean, it's a male-dominated, at that time, Italian Baroque painting in the 1600s. How did she kind of get a foothold?
She probably was trained by her father, whose name is Orazio Gentileschi. Her father was a follower of Caravaggio.
Right, right. Well, so one of her most famous works, the one currently on display at SAM, is kind of not necessarily the centerpiece of your book, but certainly in there, depicts the biblical story of this Judith, right, a Jewish heroine who is shown cutting off the head of an enemy warlord. So what is it about this painting and this painter that drew you to want to tell her story?
I think part of the reason it really stands out is just because it shows really like the logistics of what it would actually take to get that job done. It's pretty gruesome.
Brutal.
To me, it really showcases like Caravaggio's influence and just sort of the more naturalistic trend in painting that was kind of coming up in the early 1600s. And of course, it's like one of the most intense depictions of like organized female violence. The Judith painting has also gotten really famous recently, especially the version of it here at Seattle Art Museum, because it was painted around the same time that there was this enormous long rape trial. And Artemisia was sexually assaulted by one of her father's friends, Agostino Tassi. And her father brought the perpetrator to trial. And so there was this, in 1612, there's an 8-month-long rape trial. And that first Judith slaying Holofernes was painted around that same time. And so, of course, the question is, what is the relationship between what was happening in Artemisia's personal life and the painting?
Right.
So these are the questions that are coming up a lot with that specific painting. Is it a revenge painting?
Yeah.
What does it have to do with the assault? Does it have to do with the assault? You know, and I spent 7 years researching Artemisia to do this book. And at the end of 7 years of research, the answers we really just don't know. But certainly we can guess, and certainly we can see that the painting definitely stands out. You know.
Yeah, it's so different from like Caravaggio's. It's
Sure.
She brings something to it.
Yeah.
And certainly you addressed that that he did not. I mean, his is great, but I mean, you know, she brings something personal. It seems.
Yeah, I mean, it seems.
Yeah, it seems
like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
What do you think Artemisia would think about Me Too right now?
I can't really answer that at all. And I think part of that is because I've done, like, the main goal for my book was to put Artemisia in context. And a lot of, especially more feminist scholars, have been criticized for kind of projecting their own ideas onto this historical figure. People in her time didn't necessarily know about the trial and what had happened to her. And I think that she mostly tried to keep that covered up. That wasn't something that dishonor was not something that you would ever promote in any form back then, and even now, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you know, that Artemisia would want to necessarily even go there.
Right, to put it out there.
Ever.
Right.
In her time.
Yeah. Is there, for you, a personal connection to Artemisia yourself from your own life experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you describe that?
Sure, absolutely. When I first saw the painting, I wondered, is this an image of a woman using art to kind of transcend her own experiences with trauma? Because certainly that's what I've done, and that's what I've used art for, of course, you know.
It resonates for you on a personal
Yeah, absolutely.
very much on a personal level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the book, as you said, is super well researched. Runs are, I think, 279 pages. Is that
Yeah,
something
it's getting
like that?
close to 300.
And,
yeah.
and it's your graphic novel debut, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done a lot of like self-publishing and
Yeah.
like some smaller stuff, but
Yeah.
this is the first big one.
Right,
Yeah.
so you jumped into the deep end. Really, I mean, did you know what you were getting into to take on this?
Well, I broke it into 3 parts.
Yeah.
You know, I figured the first part will be about the first part of her life, the second part will be about the trial and the rape, and the third part will be, you know, the rest of her life. I thought, oh, it'll just be a year for each part.
Reality.
Yeah.
Did.
And it just took a lot longer. You know, it just, again, like in order to like convincingly recreate Artemisia's world, it just required a lot of research.
So in telling the story, this is, I was very curious about this. How did you decide what to convey with words and what to convey with drawings?
It's just different for each page, you know, it's just different for each thing. You're considering the flow of the page, the flow of the narrative, the pacing of the book. You know, I thumbnail everything out incessantly first, and then I worked with my own editor a lot to kind of dial in the writing. And yeah, certainly seems like a wordy book, but I did make really specific decisions about what I was going to show and what I was going to tell. There's going to be those things where the drawings and the facial expressions and the drawings of the paintings, where all of that is really important. But then, you know, the text, and again, providing that historical context, you know, the narrative voice is also really important. So it just depends,
Right.
you know, on what I'm dealing with in that page.
Right,
you know.
right. As I mentioned, Seattle Art Museum's exhibit, Flesh and Blood, which includes Artemisia's painting, it opened about the same time as your book being published.
Yeah.
Was that a coincidence?
Yes.
Really? That is incredible to me.
It really is. It really just is an incredible coincidence.
Yeah. And you've been involved with the museum. You've done panel discussions. You've talked about the painting, in front of the painting. How has that experience been for you?
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's been so great. What they've been doing for some shows is they have like a little education wing, like within the gallery show. And so they've been asking more contemporary artists to kind of add some art in these little education spaces to kind of help people connect with the shows, and especially shows that are a little less accessible, like the Italian Renaissance.
Yes, right. Well, thanks so much for talking to us about the book. I Know What I Am, The Life and Times of Artemisia Gentileschi is available through FANTAGRAPHICS Books. Also, Seattle Art Museum's Flesh and Blood exhibit runs now through January 26th, and Gina's book is available in Sam's gift shop. And I understand that this is they have to do another run on this because they sold out the first run, right?
Yeah.
FANTAGRAPHICS did.
Yep, working on the second printing.
Congratulations, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with them is that, you know, I can't duplicate it exactly correctly, which is infuriating. With kinetics, you know, the closer you can get to the actual thing, the more beautiful it ends up being. I did a project where I had taken the pelt of a wood duck and pulled out every single feather and categorized where each feather was on the pelt, and then duplicated those feathers, then put all the brass feathers back together into the original configuration of the pelt. In this was all the information from the original subject that won't ever disintegrate. You can turn it. I mean, there is a novel quality to having a piece of art that the public is invited to turn and like play with. Like one person walks up and they're like, oh my God, I can touch this, and oh my God, it has this whole other quality to it. Well, the pieces are made to function. And I mean, it's completed as it's functioning.
So excited. We have the indie alt rock sound of Racoma with us. Hello, y'all.
Hello.
And this is Glenn HAIDER. Hi, Glenn.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is looking good,
Thank
as
you
always.
so much.
Yep.
I don't get that compliment very often.
I'm sure no one ever talks about your hair. Of course they don't. Of course they don't. It's very, very original. Hey, so let's meet the band, your guys, and let's start over here on the right.
So we have Spencer Templeman on the bass.
Hey, Spencer.
We have Elliot Stone on the drums.
Another great set of hair on that head.
And then Sean Colopy on guitar.
Great to see you all. And also, by the way, Elliot brought his parents with him, Jeff and Kim Stone, right over here. Hi, parents. You can say hi. Hi. It's great to have you here. We love it. Okay, so when I first heard the name Racoma, I thought it was some reference to Tacoma, which
Yeah.
no, it's not. So what's
not.
the band name?
So when we first started, Sean and I first started with a couple other people, but we played on the beach on Vashon. It's called Racoma Beach.
Racoma Beach.
Yeah, and we had like an Airstream, and we gutted it and made it like our recording spot. So it's paying homage to that.
An homage. Now, your website says that you love pizza.
Yes.
You love your parents,
Yes.
obviously,
Love our
and good times, and writing simple yet honest tunes that make you want to cry and laugh at the same time, right?
Yes.
Which leads to the new record, which is your first full-length, right,
Yeah, we're excited.
record. This Front Room is the name of it, coming out soon. And earlier we talked a little bit about the record. We talked a little bit about, you said it's a metaphor. The songs are a metaphor.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
It's kind of like a metaphor for like the thoughts and emotions you show your loved ones, but behind closed doors, you know, you're kind of left with those rooms that you've kept hidden.
So all the songs, do you all have hidden rooms in these songs? All of you have something represented?
I think we all do, yeah.
Have
We've
something?
all poured our love and emotions into this.
Yeah.
and-
Well, it's terrific. The songs I've heard are so great, and you're going to play us a couple of them off the new record. And what's up first?
OTB.
OTB, and what does that stand for?
That stands for off-track betting.
And why is it called off-track betting?
Yeah, so my grandpa, is a song about my grandpa. He used to go gambling at the off-track betting. And yeah, just kind of remember that when I was a kid,
Yeah,
how
so-
awesome he was. And
Is that a bit of a hidden room, too?
yes.
Yeah, a little bit of hidden room, yeah. All right, so Racoma, y'all, are you ready to do this thing?
Ready.
Okay,
Definitely.
yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Racoma.
Oh, your horse is left on the racetrack. You bet one by one, throw away money like that. And driving into Brooklyn, just wondering how to stay. He's at the TV on. Part of his daily format. It's in his silence, it's in his get back scene. All in this bottle, oh, any bottle of empty something. Oh, your horse is left on the racetrack. If I listen closely, harmonicas play back. Oh, I want to talk about the sentimental moments in my life. The phone it rings and my sister answers the line. I know it's different, Mom is this time. Guess we gotta break the news. Guess we gotta break the news. Oh, your horse is left. Cold midnight. You're mine too much. Stay ground, I'll stay the only course in my life for you that I'm sure.
See Racoma live with Beauty Queen and Coach Phillips at the Tractor Tavern in Ballard on Monday, January 13th. And the band's new record, This Front Room, is slated for release in early February.
Hi, I'm Matt Lynch, and this is your Movie Minute.
Stop!
Today we're going to talk about a movie called Revenge. It's one of my favorite films from 2017. It's directed by a woman named Carolee Farjat. It's pretty much a standard revenge movie to start with. A young woman played by Matilda Lutz goes on vacation with her married boyfriend and his sleazy pals. You can pretty much figure out where it's going from there.
Talk about my wife. Don't you ever say her name.
Once the bad stuff starts to happen, this goes completely out of control. They leave her for dead in a cave where she goes on some peyote trip and comes out like a full-fledged warrior, rip-roaring revenge mode, proceeds to cut up anyone who gets in her way. The last 30 minutes of this movie are absolutely blood-drenched. I've never seen so much of the good stuff slathered all over a set in a movie before. This is hilarious, funny, and extremely timely. It's one of my favorite films of 2017. All right, so you can find Revenge up here under Bang, our action movie section. My name is Matt, and that was your Movie Minute.
Before wrapping up, we want to let you know about a brand new show coming to the Seattle channel. It's called Video Bebop and is hosted by the delightful Eva and Cedric Walker of the Blacktones. Take it away, you two.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Seattle's got such a great music scene, and I'm so happy my sister and I are here on the Seattle channel.
Do you remember in the 90s watching MTV music videos as a kid?
I do, yes.
That's exactly what Video Bebop's going to be like, but this time we get to host it.
That's awesome. We are going to bring you some of the best Northwest music videos. Video Bebop will have something for everyone.
New episodes of Video Bebop premiere on the second Saturday of the month at 11 p.m. and is, of course, available 24/7 online at seattlechannel.org/videobebop. And that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Art Zone is filmed on location at Georgetown Stables, the coolest event space in Seattle. More information is at georgetownstables.com.